series. Today it's the 4th lecture in the English, and we finished number 50 last week, which the last mitzvah we spoke about was the obligation of the Jewish court to execute the wicked people. I always say, in our generation, everyone is trying to hide literally half of the Torah. Nobody likes to hear the strict side of Hashem. Everybody wants to talk about the comfortable, the nice, the reward, the blessing, the help, the miracles, the beauty of the Torah, the greatness of the next world. Of course, it's natural. People like to hear nice things. Be positive, Rabbi, be positive. We think positive. But what can I do that when Hashem gave the Torah, half of it is warnings and restrictions and being very, very strict with people who do not listen to Hashem. And you have to know one thing. Hashem knew that close to the end of time, there will be people like us that will be in a very low level, basically losers when it comes to keeping mitzvot. He knew it's going to be people like us that hardly can keep few mitzvot and make a big deal out of it. And he still put it in the Torah. Now remember, it's true, it benefit many generations in the past, but Hashem wouldn't put something in the Torah that will damage the last 10 generations. It's millions of people going to suffer because half of the Torah is very strict and it's full of punishments. If Hashem put it in the Torah, that means he wanted everybody to know it. Every Jew, male, female, today, every convert who joined the Jewish nation, they have to know the truth. And this is just an introduction to the last mitzvah that we did last week. One of the 4 kinds of executions was to kill people with a sword. There were 4 different ones: stoning, burning, choking, and killing with a sword. And this is a list of sinners who made certain sins. Based on the sin, that's how the punishment. We could also learn how serious is the sin based on the punishment. You see, if a person didn't wash his hand when he ate bread, nobody execute him in the Torah. It's a sin, fine. But when a person when the Torah say to give him an execution, then we know that that's probably a very big sin. Now I know what you think. What's a big sin? Murder, rape, stealing $100 billion. And then we understand it's a big sin. But eating chametz on Pesach, I ate pasta on Pesach, for that it's a karet, isur karet, or eating on Yom Kippur. So I was hungry. What, am I a criminal that I couldn't wait until 9 in the evening? So I ate at 4. What's the big deal? Or I smoke a cigarette on Shabbos. So what? It was difficult for me to wait. There's a lot of explanation people give. It's not really that I'm so bad, but that's not what the Torah says. It reminds me about a joke. There's one guy, all Yom Kippur is smelling the chicken that his wife is cooking for after Yom Kippur, for the meal. So he couldn't hold himself anymore. The shul was next door to the house. So he ran quickly around 5 o'clock. He ran quickly, ate the chicken, and he came back. So now his wife came, Motzei Yom Kippur, she see a few pieces of chicken are missing from the pot. So she said to him, you Rasha, you wicked guy. You come in the middle of Tfilat Ne'ilah, everyone is crying in a shul, the last hour of Yom Kippur, you eat chicken? He said, are you crazy? You're suspecting me from eating chicken? So I'll tell you what, I'll prove to you. If I really ate chicken, that means I cannot eat dairy now, right? Here, look, come and see how I eat dairy. Grab a pizza and he begins to eat. Someone who doesn't care about Yom Kippur, care about waiting 6 hours. This is like us sometimes. Don't understand which sin is real and which sin is not as bad. Sometimes it looks the other way around. Like I remember one time, there was an interview in the Israeli newspaper with the chief of Bnei Akiva. It's a movement in Israel, very, very modern Orthodox. Very modern, extremely modern. So he said, we fail in our children education. We fail. We see today, since we started the movement until now. So why we fail? Our children are going to the theaters. Our children are going to parties, to disco. Our children smoking drugs. Our children doing this. Our children, and the worst The worst thing, he writes, is sometimes they even take their yarmulke and put it in their pocket. After he finished to mention sins that is on the worst sins in the Torah, he come and say, and the worst thing is they take the yarmulke off and hide it in their pocket. There's no execution for that. You understand? So like they say in Hebrew, the fish is stink from the head. The head begins to stink, the entire thing is stink. If the chief is saying in an interview, and why am I telling you this? Because everybody knows about it. It was in the newspaper. If it would be a secret, I wouldn't tell you, because then it would be Lashon Hara. But since it was advertised all over, everybody knows about it. And the worst, so if the head is thinking that taking the yarmulke off is worse than to go make sins with the girls in a party, what do you expect from the student to do? Okay, so let's move on. So mitzvah 51, when an animal got damaged. Now we're talking about financial damages. For instance, if a person owns an ox, today we have cars, most civilized people don't have animals besides dogs or birds or rabbits, all these things, but big animals, most people don't have. So in the old days, people used to have cows, oxes, bulls, and a normal ox doesn't attack anyone, normally. You know, he can be 20 years of his life and never attacks anyone. All day he eats, that's it. Once in a while, they go crazy. And then he can go and attack. He can kill a cow, he can kill a horse, he can kill a dog, he can kill anyone with his horns. Now, what happened if an ox went crazy and he hit another animal, like a donkey, and kill it? Now he's the owner of the donkey. He paid $2,000 for the donkey. He comes to you and says, pay me the money. So the Torah says, every animal, every ox that has no record, which means his file is clean, he never attacked before, has to pay half of the damage. If he made a $2,000 damage, the owner has to pay half of it. They give him 50% discount, Hashem gives him. Why? Because he could not predict that his animal will do such a thing, because there's no record. He has it for a few years. The ox never attacked. What happened now? A week later, the ox attacked again. How much he pays? 100%. Logically, you would think 100%. Well, after it happened once, you should be more careful. The Torah says, no, still 50%. But from the third time and on, you pay 100%. Why second time also 50%? Because it can happen that once in a lifetime of an ox, I don't know, the flies will make him crazy, or maybe he ate something, or who knows what. It can happen once in a while. Even us, we become crazy once every 5 minutes. So, you know, the ox, once in a while, I don't know what they did. So, the Torah say, well, second time, still 50% off. Third time, that's it already. That's called certainty, chazaka. Everything that repeats itself 3 times, that's already routine. That means it's going to happen more. Certainly, it's going to happen again. So now comes the Torah and say, an ox hit with his horns. Now remember, the ox can make damages in different ways. He can make damages with his horns. He can make damages by eating tomatoes in your yard. You're growing tomato and he ate the whole thing. Could be $500 damage. He can make damages by walking with his legs on your tomatoes and smashing all of them while he's walking. Smash the entire garden. Yeah? And he can roll on the garden and smash all the things. Why am I telling you all this? Because every kind of damage has a different punishment. It's all based on the prediction. Is it coming to happen or not? For instance, if you let your ox go to the neighbor's property, then for sure it's going to make a damage. What do you expect? An animal is hungry, he's eating. It's not a criminal. When an animal is hungry, it's going to eat. Or when he walks, he cannot tell if I'm walking on the grass or I'm walking on the tomatoes. He's not intelligent to understand I'm making $1,000 damage. So this is something that guaranteed to happen. But when he makes a damage with his horns, that's definitely not a guaranteed situation. It can happen once to 1,000 oxes. So you could not predict it. But walking, of course, it's going to be a damage. Eating. Also, when he eats, you benefit from it. Because now in the next 10 hours, you don't have to pay money and feed your ox. And when he eat and he killed a donkey, what benefits I got from it? Only damage. I didn't benefit from it. And also it's depends if the damage is in a public territory or in a private territory. It's depends if the private territory was marked or it's connected to the public and there was no way to know. There's many, many things, believe me. You learn 7 years from morning to night just about the ox. All the possibilities of the damage. By the way, you should know that all the damages in the courts, in the secular courts in the world today is based on this. This Gemara, in the Gemara in Baba Kama. You know, Arba'a Avot Nezikim, 4 methods of damages. One of them is the ox, which is something that you own that goes and makes damages. Then it could be fire. Fire that you made in your property and went and burned something else in different properties. Or a hole, a pit that you made in the ground. They used to make pits in the ground and hide their stuff. People cannot, like today you have a car, you throw everything in a trunk. It doesn't matter. Whenever you go, you're going to have it. Always it's there available. But in the old days, when you have to carry it, when you carry it with the donkey or with your camel or horse, it's heavy. So once you know, why should I carry it 10 miles and come back? Let me make a hole quickly, put everything, cover it. Everybody knows once they see a hole and it's covered with the cover, that means it's a private territory. Nobody will dare to touch. Because people used to be honest, not like today. Everyone searched to steal. That's it, it's mine. It's in a corner. I put all my stuff there. When I come back, I pick it up. Well, what happened if you didn't cover it and somebody fell in? A horse fell in, or a sheep fell in, or a person fell in and died. This is all damages. It's called hole. And the fourth one, the ox have 2 methods. One is the mouth, which means his normal damages that he does all the time. And one is the horns, which is unexpected damages. It's a lot to learn, believe me. It's much, much harder than to finish a master degree in Harvard. Just learning Baba Kama, I promise you, is much, much, much harder than anything you imagine. So let's go a little bit deeper now. The Jewish court has an obligation to judge every damage that the ox made to another individual. Whether he made it with his body or with his legs, or he beat, or he ate, or with his horns, or pushing and shoving, any kinds of damages, the court cannot ignore. They cannot say, what do you expect? The ox was hungry. Why did you put your tomatoes over there? Forget it. Don't waste our time. Here in America, they try to avoid as much as they can. There's no case. The judge dismissed the case. No, there's no case. We cannot even open it. Don't waste the taxpayers' money. But over here, the Torah says it's not up to you. You're a judge. You must judge the case. And if you find him not guilty, fine. Okay, so this is it. So that's mitzvah number 51. And remember, there is 2 status in the ox. One, it's called tam, which means he has no more than 3 times record. Either he never damaged or up to 3. That's called tam, innocent ox. More than 3 and more, that's already called muad. Muad means it's certain that he's going to make damages, already has a record. Same thing if a person was convicted in a Beis Din stealing, 3 times stealing, then his status from now on is a thief. You can go and say, Mr. X the thief. Why you call him the thief? Because he was already convicted 3 times, that means it's certain to happen. That's his habit. Once, it could be a 1-time mistake. Twice, 2 times mistake. 3 and up, this person is a thief. This is his name. Which means if it was a big party in your house and there was, 1,000 people, and your wallet is missing from your shower, and the police come, you tell the police, Mr. X is the thief. How do you know? You have cameras? No. He's the only one who has a record in a Jewish court of stealing 3 times already. He's the thief. Go and investigate him. Why not the other ones? Maybe it's somebody else. Of course, it could be somebody else. But the other people don't have a status of thieves. It's called chazakah. Remember, same thing if you let your people use your backyard to cross, let's say it's shortcut. Let's say if people wants to go to the parallel street, they can go from your driveway and cut and save themselves 15-minute circle, right? So if they continue to do it and you don't ever make an announcement, you're not against it, you let them go. After 3 years, that's it, you cannot put a gate there. If the people were using it 3 years in a row, it's certainty already. That's it, it become a public territory. And even if you sell your place, the new owner has to know that this driveway, it's the public territory, it's not yours anymore. You cannot put a gate. That's why many people put, in Muncie, almost everyone agreed that you cut where I live. It's all religious people. They don't mind that you cut. They're actually happy that with their property they make a mitzvah. But they worry if one day they would like to sell the house and the new owner, for whatever reason, will like to make an extension or to go on the driveway and break it and change the shape of the place, he won't be able to, because the people will come and say, hey, we are already 5 years walking here. You cannot block the place. So that's why they put a sign. No transparency, but when they speak to the people off the record, that's okay, you can go. I just put it for my protection. That in case somebody sue me in a Beis Din, I can come and say, everybody here, there's witnesses that can testify that I had that sign and they walked without my permission. Understand the difference? By the way, in America, it's the same law, but 7 years. In a court, it's called easement. If people walk through your property 7 years in a row and you did not stop it, there's no way to stop it. You understand? So that's a lot of the things that they do today in a secular court. Of course, they learn it from the Talmud. We taught the world civilization. We taught them trials, courts. We taught them everything. Everything they know came from the Torah. That's why we call the nation of the book. So now, the next mitzvah, number 52, if an animal has to be stoned to death. If the animal has to be stoned to death, how an animal is stoned to death, I know it sounds ridiculous, but this is it. If a sick person went and made a sin with the animal, what does the Torah say? The person and the animal has to be put to death. That's it. No mercy for that criminal. So the person who did what he did to the animal, we understand that somebody like this is a threat to our society. Today it's the animal, tomorrow it's your children. But what about the animal? The poor animal, the animal is not intelligent to know a sin, not a sin. We know that only God punishes people who are responsible for their sin. Nobody ever got punished for having blue eyes. Did you ever see in the Torah? Kill all the people with blue eyes. Don't give rights to people who have brown hair. Don't give this to people who are too tall. We never saw anything like this. We only get punished for things that we are responsible, which means we could have done different. Oh, you stole? Who told you to steal? You could have prevented yourself from doing it. So for that, you're guilty. Since when an animal is being judged? Animal doesn't have a free choice. They live with the instinct. If you put a piece of meat in front of a dog and he eats it, can you give him a punishment for that? Hey, it's my meat for Shabbat. Who told you to touch it? So now we're going to judge him and send him 5 years to prison, the thief. Nobody judged the dog. Did anyone judge the tiger or the lion for murder, that they murder so many sheep every day or every week in a safari? Nobody thought to open a court for the animals, right? Because the animals, whatever they do, they're really not guilty. Here, there is a very unique situation. Hashem say, kill the animal. The answer is, my Jewish son or daughter, depending who made the sin, lost their share to the world to come. They lost their eternity. They're never going to enter the place I promise my righteous Jewish children. They won't enter after that sin. This animal, if it stays alive, every second I look at that, I suffer. What is it like? A father that his son went into drugs and died. I don't know, somebody was selling him drugs in the neighborhood and that kid died. It's very common in our days. He ended up dead or crazy in a mental institution. So the kid, the one who sold him the drugs, he said, I have nothing against him. I was just trying to make a living. Do you think I wanted him to die? I myself feel bad. But every time the father would see him, he will suffer very much. If he doesn't see him, he suffers 20%. When he see the drug dealer somewhere in the neighborhood, he suffer a lot more. Why? Just looking at him, knowing what happened to my son. It's even if we can imagine a situation that he was not guilty. You know, let's say he stole it from him. He didn't sell it to him. He stole it from his car. Knowing that because of that person, my son lost everything, I can't even look at him. So Hashem say, this animal, take it out and execute it. Now you may say, okay, since the court decided to execute the animal, we have few hours until the execution take place. Why don't I become a wise guy? Quickly, I take my knife, I make a bracha, asher קידשנו מצוותיו וציוונו על השחיטה, slaughter that ox, whatever, make him shish kebab quickly. When the time that the police come to take the animal for execution, I say, oh, come enjoy the 4th of July party. Look, steaks, beautiful. Where you have so many steaks from? Remember the animal that's supposed to kill this afternoon? Come, instead of losing $5,000, come enjoy the party. Hashem said, no, my friend. Once it came out of the mouth of the judge that this animal needs to be killed, whether the animal killed somebody or whether the animal was a part of such a horrible sin, once it has to be executed, there's no more permission to enjoy from it. This is something the Torah needs to tell you. Because you may think, let me save the money at least. Anyway, we kill the animal, so we might enjoy the meat. You cannot enjoy from it. Lo ya'achel besaro. You cannot eat it, the Torah says. And someone who did it, what happened if you ignore the Torah? You're stingy. You didn't want to lose $5,000 on your ox or your cow. And you say, who cares? When the police come, what are they going to do? What's the punishment? You get 39 whips. 39 hits with a whip in a court. They whip him in front of everyone to know that next time when something like this happens, if Hashem say not to do it, you just listen. Mitzvah number 53, one different method of damages, the pit. Person made a hole in the ground, any kind of hole. You want to make a pool, and it's empty, and you didn't put a fence, and one kid came there and fell, right? Or any kinds of damages that because of neglection, somebody got wounded from this pit. So the Beit Din must judge this case, cannot ignore it, have to listen to all the details, and how deep the pit has to be in order for it to become a criminal act. If you make a little pit like this in the ground, very little pit like this, you wanted to put a little plant inside, and somebody came and tripped from that pit. Oh, I'm suing you. Nothing. 10 tfachim. This is a tefach, which is like 4 inches. 10 tfachim, about 40 inches. 40 inches deep. 10 tfachim means 10 hands, one on top of the other. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 like this. Why is it? Because the nature of, if the hole is 10 tfachim, when the animals walk, especially at night, you cannot see. During the day you see. There's a hole here, let's go around. But in the night you ride your donkey, and there's a hole in the middle of the road. Remember, there was no roads like today. You have a little pothole, you send a complaint to the city. There was all kinds of pits in our streets. You have to be very careful. So now what happened to the animal? The first 2 legs are falling in a pit. The other one are still on top. If it's a little hole, nothing happens to the face of the animal. But once it's deeper than 10 tfachim, then the face of the animal goes boom and hit the ground, and usually it's a death penalty. So from 10 tfachim, it's a life risk for the animals. Less than 10 tfachim, there's no life risk. Now the Gemara comes and have a whole chapter about it. What happened if you made 9 tfachim, 37 inches, and one more person made it 2 inches deeper? And he made the 10 tfachim. You made 9, and he made the last one. And then the animal got wounded. Whose fault is this? The one who dig 9 or the one who dig the last 10?
The last one.
Why? Isn't we going always by the majority? Let me give you an example. If I took a person and smacked him 9 punches in his face, and then one more person came and gave him the last one and he fell and died, who caused the most of the damage to his head? The 9 punches I gave him, or the one that he gave him?
The first one, but the most damage did the last one.
Why? I did 90% of the damage, he made 10%.
The last 10 was the most crucial.
So now it's a big argument. It's a very big argument. Who really should carry most of the penalty? Somebody who did 90% or the last 10% or the last 1%? So you're right. The one who did the last 10, he got hit to a criminal danger. Up to now, it was not against the law. You added another one, you made it now a threat. Same thing with the punches. The 9 punches I gave him, a month later he can come out of hospital and go back to normal. The 10th one killed him. I made him 90%, but for my damage, it wasn't a permanent damage. It was pain. I have to pay for the pain. I have to pay for the doctors. I have to pay for the suffering, for the time of work that he has to take off, of course. But I cannot be guilty of killing him because 9 punches is not enough to kill. Came the person and gave him 1, then he's the one who got him to die. And from that damage, there's no correction. So it's really a murderer. But it's also depends if he knew that he got 9 punches or not. If he knew and he gave the 10th one, then for sure. Well, you don't know. But if he didn't know, he thought, oh, I'm only going to give him 1 punch. What can happen from a punch? Hey, he just got 9 a minute ago. He didn't see it. So it's a not intentional murder. What happened in a case like this? You go to a shelter city, what we call jail today. You got to leave your place and go to a shelter place where all the not intentional murderers live. You understand? Believe me, it's a lot to learn. This is just to give you an idea. Now you have to be there X amount of years until the high priest, the Kohen HaGadol, dies. Once the Kohen HaGadol dies, then you come out of there. So the mother of the Kohen HaGadol used to cook food for the prisoners there, that they won't pray to Hashem that her son will die. So she used to bring good food here, or savo, here, or shpalo, here, lachma ba'ajin, you know, all kinds of things. Why? Hashem bless you. Why? They're happy now. Why? Who wants to go out of jail? But it's very interesting because, you know, I saw once a story that in the old days they put the Gaon Mivilna in jail, they put the first Rabbi of Chabad in jail. Many important holy people, the Russians, they used to put them in jail with their great love to the Jewish nation. They used to give us a gift, sending us to jails here and there for nothing. So there was one student that says that on his way to jail, he was so disappointed. Wow, I'm going to have to be in jail for a few years. But when he went to jail, he saw one of the most important rabbis over there. Now he never wanted to come out of there. When his time came to come out, he said, who wants to live a place like this? You gave me a yeshiva with the most important rav in the world. All day I learned Torah with him here. Why would I want to go back to my place? Anyway, we enjoy sitting and learning. By the way, you should know that there's a prison in upstate for white-collar crime. White-collar crime. Fraud in a credit card, insurance fraud, inside information in a stock market, forging signature, Medicaid fraud, all kinds of good people with nice ties and beautiful cars are sitting there, you know, for what they did. Money laundering, you know, there's all kinds of things. That's called white-collar crimes. And there is a whole yeshiva over there. Yeah, they sit around, they learn Torah. So sometimes Hashem see a Jew doesn't learn Torah, and he say, you know what, the only way this guy will learn Torah is send him upstate. He bring him somebody, hey, there's a good insurance case. Sign here, I'll get you the money, don't worry. Everybody know it's a very tempting offer, especially if he's broke or his business is not doing well. 9 out of 10 people will fall in this trap. So why did it come to this person and not to him? He went to him. If he would go to the other person, he would also make the sin. But why he went to him? Because it's all a plan that Hashem wants to send him to yeshiva to learn Torah for 3-4 years. Now, when he's in business, he doesn't have time for learning Torah. He's busy with his work all day. Hashem said, no problem, upstate New York, I'm preparing a bed for you, there's a good Rabbi there, you get up in the morning, there's nothing to do. What are you going to do, sit all day and watch the trees? It's a camp. All day they learn. Same thing in Miami. There's a federal prison, camp, people have a library there, books. People who never touched a book in their life, all of a sudden became rabbis over there. The murderer of Yitzhak Rabin, Yigal Amir, the one who killed Rabin, he learned a little Torah before, but he was very, very modern. He was a student in Bar Ilan University. He wasn't a yeshiva guy. Now he went to jail. He finished the whole Talmud. We didn't even finish the whole Talmud. We free. We didn't finish even half of it. He finished the whole Talmud, and he finished the whole Shulchan Aruch. If one day he comes out, he's going to be a very big rabbi. He knows the whole Torah now. Why? He's in a room isolated, no television, no computer, no nothing. All he has is books. So it's like forcing a person to become a Talmid Chacham. There's nothing else to do. All day is learning. There's nothing else to do. Okay, now let's move on. So remember, every damage that was done by the pit, by the hole, the Beit Din have to decide the damage. For instance, I give you one last example about this mitzvah. If you had a donkey full of Chinese vase, art with drawing, very expensive vase, 1, 2, 5, I don't know, bags, it could be anything. It can be glass, can be plates, can be china set, can be a lot of things that you put nicely on your donkey. Everything is in a pack. And the donkey fell into the hole, and the donkey died. And all the vase, they all broke. It could be, the vase could be $100,000 damage. The donkey is $2,000. The things that was on top of the donkey, it's like a house. The Torah say the whole only pays for the actual animal death, not for the kelim. Things that was on top of it, you're not responsible. Why? It's indirect damage. There's a direct damage and a chain reaction. You understand? For instance, I threw a stone in someone's head. Because of the heat, he fell to all the way down from the window on someone's head. And that person got hurt. Now, I heard that person over there. I don't even know him. I never saw him. I heard Mr. X, who happened to fall from the window on the head of Mr. Y that was Y that was all the way down. That's already called grama bin zikim, an indirect damage. There's laws. What happened? Now he wants to sue me if he has an object of me, if he can keep it, or he can actually get money out of me. All these laws, which are very, very, very complicated. And there are people in our generation that knows everything by heart, like my cousin. I have a cousin. He has millions of laws here, millions. Everything you ask him, right away he'll tell you the source, where, whose, what's opinion according to this. When, it depends when it was, what place, how it did happen, everything by heart. You understand? This is people who deserve a lot of admiration. You know, that millions of things to know everything, the right order, and I say literally millions. I don't mean thousands, millions, literally millions. Yeah, it takes 20 years, and it needs a lot of devotions. No judge in a court, even in a Supreme Court, remember 1% of what the rabbis in the Jewish Beit Din remember by heart. They all have computers. They're not used to think like we think. Our culture, our Jewish culture, it's already 3,321 years of hard efforts of learning. We can learn anything you give us. The children, first grade already, they can memorize Mishnayot by heart, the whole Parsha. 11 years old kids in Israel, they tell you the entire Torah by heart. Everything by heart. All chapters of the Torah, everything by heart. 11 years old. 304,805 letters by heart. You don't believe me? I'll take you to Israel on your expense, and I'll take you to I have a cousin, her husband, so my cousin's son, in my own eyes, his father said, no, start saying the Parsha, the entire chapter, like a song. He said everything by heart, 11 years old. And I almost fainted when I saw it. I told him, wow. He said, what wow? He knows all the parashot he knows by heart. They learn from age 4 or 5. By the time they get to 11, the kids remember everything. Why kids remember and adults don't? Because the Torah already say, kids it's like riding on a brand new page. Adults, it's like riding on a very used paper. You erase, you wrote again, you erase again, you wrote again. Over the years, it's falling apart. The memory of a person who went through many sins after his bar mitzvah is not the same of the little kids, that their soul is still pure. And it can receive a lot of information with almost no limitation. So, mitzvah number 54, mitzvah of the Beit Din to judge a thief of penalty, paying payments for what he stole, or execution. Depend what kind of thief we are talking here about. Not stealing money or value items. Thief that what? That, let me see, okay, so we're talking a thief that if he stole money, he has to pay the amount of the money plus 100% penalty. You stole 10, you have to pay 20. You stole 1,000, you pay 2,000. But what happened while you were coming to steal from a house in the middle of the night? The owner of the house came out and you got nervous and you stabbed him and then he died. Now, you didn't plan. It wasn't a planned murder. But you got panic, so you ended up killing him. So this is all the laws that apply to thieves. Thieves for the actual stealing and for the actual blood spilling that occurred as results of the stealing. One thief came to the shul and opened up the ark and hugging the Torah with tears. God, please make me have a vision. Give me the Holy Spirit, Ruach HaKodesh. I want to be able to see things. So then the Gabbai is cleaning the shul. He can't believe the biggest thief in town is crying for Ruach HaKodesh. He wants to be holy. First become a human being. What are you talking about Ruach HaKodesh? So he couldn't take it. He comes to the thief. He says, shame on you. Instead of praying to Hashem to make you a decent person, you're talking about being a holy person, that you can see things. So he say, after the Gabbai got, he calmed down, he said to him, but by the way, where do you have this nerve that you want to have Ruach HaKodesh? What's behind this? So he told him, I'll tell you why. When I break into people's houses in the middle of the night, sometimes it takes me hours to find where they hide their money. I try here, I try there, I open the closet, I check here. Sometimes I make noise, and they get up, and they come, and then it can end up in a murder. I don't want to be a murderer. So I'm begging God to make me have Ruach HaKodesh, that as soon as I come to the house, right away like a radar, I know where the money is. Quick, in and out, I take the money, and I leave. And I don't have to kill anyone. So the rabbi said, a person like this thief, he knows there is Hashem. He knows he runs the world. He knows that he can pray and receive things from Hashem. He knows there is something that called Ruach HaKodesh to holy people, but he doesn't know Hashem will give him food without stealing. Everything he knows. But something that is not objective about, he forgets. Like all the guys in yeshiva. Rabbi, I have to leave the yeshiva, I have to go work. Why I have to work? I have to save money. Why I have to save money? One day I'll get married. I'm going to have children. How am I going to take care of them? I don't have $1. Now I work a few years until I get married. I'll have some money. So my question to them is, who told you you're going to have a wife? What do you mean? Hashem? I trust Hashem. To give me a wife. Who told you if you have a wife that you have children? Some couples cannot have children. What do you mean? I trust Hashem. I have strong emunah in Hashem that will give me a wife and children. So you trust Hashem to give you a wife, no problem. You trust Him to give Him children, no problem. But then you have a problem trusting Him, feeding your children? What's going on here? You either trust Hashem or you don't. You don't trust Him with what's convenient, and what's not convenient, you forget about Him. Doesn't work that way. So this was mitzvah number 54. Mitzvah number 55, it's an obligation of the Jewish court to judge all the damages of fire. You made shish kebab in your backyard, you left it on, something got burned, your son went with something and a piece of paper, put it in the fire, joking, laughing, going to the neighbors and throwing it to his yard. The next thing, $15 million house was on fire. And the guy comes to you and says, hey, Moshe, I didn't insure the house yet. Who has to pay now? Why? You didn't close it, you gave access to your children to the fire, or if you made fire in the grass, in a picnic, you didn't put stones around it, you didn't make a hole in the ground. There's a lot of things. It was wind, it wasn't wind, to what direction was the wind, you put it on the roof, all kinds of things. You have, God forbid, an autistic kid is more dangerous, he's gonna take it, you cannot, they don't think, so he's gonna walk around with a fire, who knows what he's gonna do. Many things. So all the things here, it's called burning damages that the Beit Din must pay. Now, all these damages, once a person found guilty in a court, he has to give from his best real estate. It's really, real estate is not the right word, from his land. There are 3 different kinds of land. Good one, mediocre, and a bad land. When the Gemara speaks about good land, it doesn't speak about location. Oh, it's Fifth Avenue, Madison Avenue, or it's Buffalo. You can buy 1,000 houses for a price of 10. Why? Because this is Fifth Avenue, Manhattan. This is the end of the world over there. It's very far. How many people wants to live there? You understand the idea? No. That's not what the Gemara speaks about. The Gemara, in the time of the Gemara, everyone was a farmer, one way or the other. You grow things in your yard. So you have fields. You grow watermelons, you grow cucumbers, you grow wheat, barley, corn. Now, not every land has the same ability of growing. For instance, where I live, it's called Rockland County. You want to put a tree in the ground, you have to sweat 3 hours. Why? You stick the shovel in, rocks. Now you don't know how big is the rocks. So you move a little bit to the right, another rock. You move here, another rock. That's why it's called Rockland County. It's all full of rocks. But some places, very soft land. It's very easy. And the ground absorbing the water better, growing better. It's straight. It's not up the hill, down the hill. There's different levels. So there are 3 ratings to the land. One, the best one called Idit. The mediocre one, it's called Benonit. Benonit means mediocre in Hebrew. And the worst one called Ziburit, which is the worst land. Now a person, he has to pay compensation in a Jewish court and he doesn't have money, doesn't have cash. They check him, you have money? No. Now, I don't have anything, I really don't have. Okay, you're gonna have to sell your property and pay for the damage. They force him to sell something. So no problem, I'll pay him with my lands. Here, I have a land in this street, go take it. But it's not a good land. It's the worst, Ziburit, that's very hard to grow things on it, or not that much growing. So the Torah says, no, my friend. If you don't give cash, you give your best property. You don't give the worst property, like in America. Okay, here, take my watch, and the other 10 million I'll pay you when I be 100 years old. Judge, I don't have money. Okay, so you pay him 1,000 shekel for the next 500 years. That's what they do. You don't have money, you don't have money. Over here, no, my friend. They force you to sell and you pay, and if you don't have, you become a slave. In the end, you must pay for your damages. So, this was mitzvah number 55. Mitzvah number 56, it's an obligation of the Jewish court to judge the damages that the animals made with the mouth. Now remember, I told you that the ox, you can break it to a few different categories. Categories that he hit with his horns, there was no pleasure to the owner. He did not benefit anything. It was not expected. It was unexpected. That's why there's discount on the damage for the first 3 times. But if he ate, first time he went to someone's property and ate. You didn't watch your animal. And he went to your friend's field and ate. And now he sues you. There's no discounts over here. This was predicted. Like today, dogs. You have dogs. Why don't you put something on their mouth to protect? You know, your dog there's different kinds of dogs, but this is a dangerous kind. What are you waiting for? Or different animals that you know everything they see, they eat. If you own a deer, don't you know that every flower is going to see, every leaf is going to see, is going to start eating? It's obvious that it's going to do it. So that's why you cannot come and claim. So this is damages of the mouth of the animals. Mitzvah number 57, It's an obligation of the Beit Din to judge a person who was a guard. What a guard? A keeper, I should say. A keeper. What's a keeper? There are 4 different kinds of keeping. There are a person who agreed to keep anything for you for free. Moshe, I'm going to Israel. Do me a favor. This watch is very expensive. Not mine. Mine is cheap. But here, take it. It's a $100,000 watch. When I come back from Israel, I trust you that you're going to watch it for me. He comes back from Israel. Oh, Moshe, don't ask. Somebody broke into my house and stole your watch. Does he have to pay or not? Depend. If it was doing it for free, is watching for free, volunteering, he doesn't have a lot of responsibility. All he have to swear in court that he did not neglect the keeping of the watch, which means he didn't leave windows open, he locked the house in a normal way, he hid it where he hides his stuff, I don't know, in a safe or under the clothes, whatever. If he did what he did, what else can he do? Can sit with a gun next to it for the whole month? That's not what the Torah expects. But you went away for a week and you left all the windows open. Oh, I trust Hashem, Rabbi. We don't close our... you got to pay for the watch. Or he took money with him to Israel. Here, give it to my uncle. $5,000. Take it with you. He take off his jacket, leave it on the chair in a plane, and go half an hour to the bathroom. By the time he comes back, how do you know? People see a jacket. The person next to that will put his hand inside and steal it. That's neglection. But if you fell asleep in a plane and somebody somehow, a professional thief, stole it from your inside pocket, it's really not your fault. Also depends if it was with a gun, armed robbery, not armed robbery. So the rule is, it's called shomer chinam. A keeper that agreed to keep for free doesn't have high level of responsibility, which means he's not capable of paying for unexpected damages. Only something that is his direct fault. What happened if you paid him to watch it? Like a storage. Here, take my watch, put it by your safe, watch it for me. Here is the bank, they have a safe, they have an alarm, you trust their security, you put it in. And out of nowhere, somebody broke the building with a bomb and stole it. Now, even though it wasn't their fault, they did everything okay, doesn't matter, because they got paid for it. With the payment, they buy more liability. That's called shomer sachar. I'm paying you to do it. That's why in business, when 2 partners, one invests money with the other, for instance, you have a friend that knows how to bake pizza. He's an expert in pizza, but he's broke. He doesn't have money. So he comes to you and say, hey, Itzik, give me $150,000. I open a pizza shop. We'll be partners 50-50. Whatever we make, we'll split, and I'll do all the work. And I'll get a salary for my work. And you're a silent partner. I'll give you 50% of the profits every month. It's a very common deal. So what happened? If he's knowing Torah, when they make the contract, he has to give him $1. He has to say to the pizza guy, the baker, give me $1. No, I'm sorry, the opposite. The one who gives the money has to give the one who is going to work $1. And he writes it in a contract. The investor is giving $1 to the professional, to the receiver of the money, and nominate him to be shomer sachar on the investment. And nominate him to be a keeper of the money for a payment. Even though it's only $1, it's symbolic. But it has to be in a contract, because you're changing the status of the person who you're giving him the money. If you just gave him the money like this and you didn't write in the contract, and somebody robbed him before the store opened, he goes with the money, I don't know, to give it to the landlord, somebody came to him and stole it. You lost your money. It's not his fault. But since he became shomer sachar, it's his obligation now. Why? You paid him for it. Now that makes his liability a lot higher, etc., etc. So this is called shomer chinam. Generally, if a shomer chinam come and swear in court that he did not neglect keeping the object, then he doesn't have to pay. Now the Gemara asks all kinds of questions. What happened if a person paid? You gave me your cow. Cow, let's say it's $5,000. You went to Israel, you came back after a month. So your cow disappeared. I don't know what happened, disappeared. You tell me, okay, you want to swear in court or you want to pay me the $5,000? So I say, well, for someone like me, it's going to ruin my reputation that people will see me in court. Even though I'm not guilty, better for me to lose $5,000 than tomorrow I'm going to read in a newspaper that he was in court and who know what he did, who know who he murdered. You know, so better not to go to court. Come, take $5,000, no problem. Now what happened, I paid him $5,000 and a week later they found the thief. The police found the thief and the cow is there. Who does he return the cow to? To me or to the original owner? By giving him the $5,000 of the cow, did I buy the cow or no? Huh? No contract. I paid him $5,000 and he agreed. He received the money. He's happy. He got the money. Now they found the cow. Does he get the cow and give me back the $5,000 or that's it? Whatever I paid. Now the cow comes to me. So the cow comes to me. But that's really not the question. This every little kid knows that the cow comes to me. What happened with the penalty? The thief has to pay double. 2 cows. 1 cow, it's $5,000. If the thief was caught by the police, according to the Torah, he has to pay double. So now he has to give back 10. 5,000, I paid. Here is my 5 back. What are we doing with the extra 5? There's a whole 2 pages in the Gemara. Who gets it? The person may say, I agreed to receive $5,000, but I never gave you the rights. If one day they find the thief, that you're going to make the reward. The reward comes to me. He said, I would never agree to give you the money, not knowing if that I have a chance to make more. It's a beautiful thing. It's sugya in the Gemara. This is how lucky the people who gets to learn Gemara to the people who doesn't know what Gemara is. At least the good news is that they don't know what they're missing. Because there's one thing, not learning Gemara because, I don't know, they put you in some place that you cannot learn, or because you're sick or anything like this, God forbid. You know what you're missing and you suffer every minute, then you don't even know what you're missing. When you don't know what you're missing, at least you don't suffer. But when you taste it from it, and now you cannot learn, that's a very, very big punishment. Because every second of your life you suffer. Then, it's another mitzvah number 58. What happened, the Beit Din, the Jewish court, has to sit and judge to'en vekofer, which means 2 individuals, 2 Jews come to court. Reuven is suing his friend Shimon for something. I gave you a loan, I put money by you, or you stole from me, or you damaged my property, or anything like that. So the Torah says that both of them have to stand in front of the judge. The one who sued and the one who gets sued. You don't do it in a separate meeting. First the one who sued and then you call the other one. They have to sit, they have to stand and talk, one in the face of the other. Why? A person is harder for him to lie in front of the person, to make up stories. But when he's not around, the story is growing constantly. But if the person is in your face, it's harder to lie when he's looking at you. Even though today it's not so true anymore, but at least that's how it used to be. Now, mitzvah number 59, the Jewish court has to judge cases of shomer sachar and socher. A Jew who receives money to watch an item, he has higher liability. And also when you rent something, you rent an animal, you rent a car, you rent tools, you're renting something. When you rent, you are watching what I rent you my car. So you are watching my car. If something happened to the car, it counts that I put my car in your storage. You're not doing me a favor by watching my car. You are obligated to watch my car. It's count like shomer sachar. It's like I paid you money. I paid you money to watch my car. Why? Otherwise, I don't want to rent my car to you. So this is called shomer sachar, someone who keep for a salary, for money, or renting. It's the same status in halacha, which is higher liability with someone who watch for free. Then mitzvah number 60, Beit Din, the Jewish court, have to sit and judge the laws that applies to a borrower. A borrower. What does it mean? You come to me, yes, can I borrow your lawn machine? We want to cut the grass. Can we borrow it? Yes, you can borrow it. He borrowed it and it broke. He borrowed it and I don't know, something happened. Somebody stole it from him, from his car. Anything like this. Borrowing, you have full liability, full. No matter what happened, even if 100% it's not your fault, you must pay. You must pay. Why? Because I wasn't even interested to give it to you. You came to approach, hey, I want it. You took it, you are 100%, no matter how they stole it, you put locks, you put alarm, you pay a security company to watch it, doesn't matter. The same thing would happen to me. I have to lose the money, now you have to lose the money. So, this is all the laws of, it's called shoel. Yesh mash'il veyesh shoel, yes.
So if somebody wrecks your car, if you lend somebody your car, they destroy it, they're fully responsible. They get a ticket, no matter what happens, they're responsible.
100%. 100%. So, unless if it died naturally, which means you gave him a donkey, but then the donkey is 600 years old. So every day he's alive, it's a miracle. Then the donkey can hardly move. He's already drunk. So you say, oh, I need a donkey for an hour. Do me a favor, give me the donkey. You took the donkey, 5 steps after, he died. That's not your fault, because this is, or a car, 400,000 miles. And the engine stopped working in a highway. But if you took the donkey to a very high cliff, and you make the animal work more than the ability, right? Then it's your responsibility. But if you did normal job, then it's called meta mechamat melacha. Work in a natural way, that's a different story. Because then he can come and tell the original owner, what's the difference? He wouldn't die by you? 400,000 miles, the car wouldn't die by you? Now the 1 hour that he was by me die, I have to pay now $50,000 for this car. It would die by you anyway. You give me a car with 10,000 miles, brand new car, and then I bring it to you with the engine is burning, I probably did something wrong to it. And it doesn't matter, it's my bad luck. But 400,000 miles, every day drives is a miracle, especially if it's an American car, right? So, so in that case, it's, the owner's responsibility. Now, mitzvah number 61, it's an obligation of the Beit Din to judge a person who's seducing a woman. He takes a young girl, listen, be with me. If you agree one time to be with me, I promise you I give you $1 million cash, nobody will ever know. Only one time, $1 million, here, the money is there, just agree. And she's a little girl, what does she understand? And slowly, and then eventually, the scene was made. Now, not like today, they put him on television and give him a prize. And the old days of the Torah was a very serious problem. So the Beit Din must judge this person severely, and it's all depend if it was in a public area or if it's an isolated field, in the night, in the day. She screamed, she didn't scream, she cooperated, she didn't cooperate. There's a lot of laws applies to it. I don't have obviously the time to go into it. It will take more than an hour. But this is called mefateh, tempting. So what we see here, there's one thing that 2 people agree to make a sin together. They are both sinners, but they're equally guilty. But when one side is seducing the other, tempting the other with any kind of temptations, then his obligation is much bigger and his punishment is also bigger. You understand? What's considered a tempting or not, that's already the Beit Din to decide based on what the Torah say. Mitzvah number 62, if there is a witch, male or female, which means making all kinds of black magic, voodoo, all kinds of things that they do in New Orleans and the places over there in India and Thailand and all kinds of places like this, what we call black magic. This kind of people must be killed. There's no permission to the court to leave them alive 1 second. If they get caught in the land of Israel doing this, they must take them and execute them. As the Torah says, "Mechashefa lo techayeh." Don't give the witch a permission to live. You got to take her away from here, from this world. Right? Why the Torah spoke in a female language? Because most of the witches is female. Right? because there was a job that applies usually to women, reading in a coffee, taking a doll, making a knot, to give me hair from here, hair from there, mix it, put it under his pillow. Today we have all kinds of fake rabbis that call themselves Kabbalists, that they are like this. Give me the names, I'm going to make a special thing for me, you give me $200, put it always here, bring me all your friends. That's also maybe falling into this category, these fakers. Got to be very careful never to pay money to anybody to sell you any object of protection. Not special kamea, not a necklace, not this red string. None of this is real. It's all fake. It's all a lie. It's all a way to take money from innocent believers. Don't believe any of this. None of it. Give us this, we'll make you tikkun, pidyon nefesh, we buy silver coins, this, that. Don't fall into this trap. Even if they use a legit method in a Kabbalah, most likely they don't know how to do it, and even if they know how to do it, they're not kosher like it's required. Like to write a kamea, if you're not a kosher person, you make more damage to the person. You're not helping him. Even you follow the book. But you're not a holy person. All day you look at the women. All day you listen to Lashon Hara. You're not kosher in your business. Shabbat is not Shabbat. Learning is not learning. Now you come to write names of angels and this and come on. It's not recommended at all. Now, mitzvah number 60, we'll do 65 and we'll finish for today. So mitzvah number 63, not to deceive the converts with words. Action is another sin, words. Giving him all kinds of things. For instance, one goy became a Jew. He converted. And then he comes to him and say to him, who do you think you are? Just a week ago you kissed the feet of Buddha. Now you're coming here and tell us what to do here? Be quiet. You're lucky that we allow you to come here. Or all kinds of things like this. You know, or like, well, I'll give you an example. One goy was stealing tefillin in Muncie. One cleaning guy. One time he stole it, and then he came to another guy to sell it for him. He said, how much? So he told him, where do you have it from? He said, I found it. Now, the Jew doesn't know what to do. I buy it from him, he's going to go and steal more. If I give him a nice amount of money. And what is he going to do? He's going to steal more. He knows he stole it. If I don't steal it from him, then he throw it in the garbage in the end. The name of Hashem in the garbage. So he's thinking, what should I do? So Hashem gave him an idea. I said, okay, great. Open, let's see. So, you know, there's two pairs. So he told him, hey, what's going on here? It's a piece missing. It's not worth even $5. So what do you mean a piece missing? That's the way I found it. He said, here, I'll show you. This goes on the left arm. This goes on the head. And where is the one from the right hand? The one is missing. And the guy said, oh, man, I'm sorry. I don't know. I found it like this. Okay, I'm not giving you $200. $5 you want, I'll take it. The guy, he realized there's a piece missing. He doesn't know there's only one hand. He gave him $5 and he saved the tefillin. Then he found the owner of the tefillin. He went to ask around. It was stolen from a shul. But this is a kosher deceiving. Here it's mitzvah to deceive him, to lie to him, to get it out of him. Because what are you going to tell him? Hey, he's going to take a knife and stab you. So it was a smart way. But to do it to someone who became a Jew, a convert, any kind of things that tricking him, he doesn't know. Like, you know, there's a good joke. One guy came to a Jew and said, you Jews are so smart. What's your secret? Sell me the secret. I'll pay. He told him, we have this fish that we eat. It's called herring. It opens up the brain. So the guy say, how much it cost? He told him $300 a pound. But it makes you very smart. Here, $300, get it for me. Next day, he gives him a jar, herring, $300. A few days later, the guy walks in the street, he sees herring, $4.99 a pound. He runs to the Jew, wow, you liar. You sold me something that cost $5 for $300? You're not ashamed of yourself? He says, you see, you already became very smart. It works. You understand? That's all these kind of tricks is against the Torah. Not allowed in any kind of way to trick them with your mouth. Then, mitzvah number 64, not to deceive the converts with money. You know, for instance, he say, how much is this matzah? $50 a pound. It's $15 a pound. He knows he doesn't know anything from his life. $50 a pound. Or the convert wants to learn. He charge all his students $45 an hour. Comes the convert, $180 an hour. Why? He doesn't know anyway the prices. He thinks it's a piano lesson. Piano lesson, you pay that much. But, because he doesn't know, you take advantage on him, it's not permitted. So, or if you gave him a loan, now you put all kinds of fear on him. I'm going to tell the court, they will announce you that you're a thief. Remember, you used to be a goy. It's going to be your end. Nobody will ever marry you. I'll finish your career. It's all against the Torah. You cannot do it to a Jew from birth. You cannot do it to a convert. So this is number 64. Number 65, not to torture the widow and the orphan. You're not allowed to torture any person, not a Jew, not a goy, male, female, of course, not allowed. But here, it's an extra warning that if you mess with a widow or an orphan, your punishment is much worse and much faster to come. It's not like regular person, Hashem has patience, he wait 10, 20 years. Over here, if the widow scream, expect a bullet is on the way to you. Or if the orphan is scream, expect a tragedy. Why? Over here, there's no patience, no tolerance. Right away, God forbid something happen. Why? Because Hashem say, the orphan doesn't have a parent, I am his parent instead. You mess with him, you mess with me. The widow doesn't have a husband, I'm her husband. You mess with her, you have a problem with me. They are under my protection. I took away their parent, I have extra obligation to protect them. You understand? What is it like? You have a person that is a stranger to you, or a kid that you're adopting him. Who are you going to make bigger mess when someone mess with the kids? One you hardly know, or one that you are adopting? Obviously here you take it personally. This is why it's the last thing a person wants to do. Even a widow of a king, even a widow that is the richest in the world, either a prince that is an orphan, there's no differences. Why? Psychologically, their heart is broken. The money cannot cover for losing a father or a mother, or or husband, etc., or a wife. So that was number 65. We finished. The next week, Bezrat Hashem, we're gonna do an obligation to lend money to the poor person, and also not to bother a person that owes you money knowing he doesn't have it, not to curse a judge in a court if he didn't rule to your favor, not to curse Hashem, God forbid, not to curse the president of all the rabbis, and the laws of kosher meat. And when a person is claiming something in court when the other person is not there, a person who was a part of the crime can never become a witness like they do today in all the courts in the world. Let's make a plea bargain. Instead of 10 years, we'll send you to 1 year in prison, and you tell us who was the people who made. You're going to be a witness. We'll use you as a witness. And then they send him to some kind of a protection, witness protection plan. It's all against the Torah. When the Sanhedrin has to rule if a person has to be put to death or not, they have to have a big majority. Cannot be ruled by a difference of one judge. 36 against 35, you cannot kill him. It has to be more than one. And probably, what does it mean? Plural and single, or majority and minority. How do we rule the halacha when there's majority against minority? How does it go, with quality or quantity? Actually, I gave a whole lecture about it. It's in a website. But we'll do it in 2 minutes, because now we speak 2-3 minutes on every mitzvah. If we give a lecture on every mitzvah, we'll finish when we'll be 80. But so far we are on 65. We made a good progress, 15 mitzvot today. Thank you very much. We'll see you next time.